Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be talking about an under-the-radar candidate that I believe will be one of the top candidates for the Washington Commanders head coach job this offseason. So I'll be talking about him. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. We're super close to 12,000 subscribers, trying to hit it by the end of the year. So as a Christmas present to me, if you guys could just hit that subscribe button, it's free. Also hit that like button and that notification bell as well. It really does help out a ton. All right, and first off, I do want to wish you guys all a Merry Christmas. I guess a late Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays in general. Didn't want to do a video yesterday just because I was chilling with the fam, and I was pretty sure everyone else was doing the same thing. So hopefully everyone had a great Christmas. I appreciate all you guys, and thank you guys so much for supporting me this year. But let's get started. So we're in the part of the season where Commanders, we got 4 wins. I don't even know. I think it's 4-11. And 4-11, that's 15 games. They've got 2 more games left to go. And we're talking about who's going to be the next general manager, who's going to be the next head coach, who's going to be the next quarterback, what draft pick will the Commanders have. Not about actual games, which is sad. But, the guys that we've been mainly talking about have been Ben Johnson, maybe even Bobby Slowick from the Texans, who's their offensive coordinator. And I did mention this guy, but one guy that's been going under the radar and has had a really good job for the Ravens is defensive coordinator Mike McDonald. Sorry. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, why should we hire a defensive coordinator? It didn't work with us this year. It didn't work for the Commanders with Ron Rivera, and I get that. But it's a little bit different with Mike McDaniel, or why do I keep on saying Mike? I think it's because of Mike McDaniel, but Mike McDonald, he's younger. He's 36 years old. He's had a lot of good experience, though. He's been the defensive coordinator for the Ravens 2 different times, and he was with the Ravens, then left to go to Michigan. The Ravens' defense got worse, and he was doing good with Michigan, came back, and their defense got even better. And this year, it has been absolutely amazing, and they have some ties. Mike McDonald does with some Commanders guys that Josh Harris recently brought in that are going to be, some big decision makers. And this is from Albert Breer. He says, Washington Commanders owner Josh Harris reportedly wants to model his team after the Ravens. So if he wants to model his team after the Ravens, he's already started to do that. He got Eugene Shen, who I made a video about, a big analytics guy who worked for the Ravens. If you want to watch that video, go ahead. I'll probably link it in the end screen, or you guys just can look through my recent videos. But he worked with John Harbaugh earlier and with Mike McDonald and is a big analytics guy. And he, I think, will maybe be someone that helps choose their next GM. And if they choose a GM that maybe worked with the Ravens, then maybe that GM is going to want to take someone from the Ravens like Mike McDonald or Todd, I forgot what his name is, Todd Monken, I think that's his name, the Ravens OC, who I probably wouldn't go for. I think he's a little bit older. But Mike McDonald, just some information on him, went to Georgia, from Boston, has been in the league for a while, not a ton, but 9 years. Rejoined the Ravens as defensive coordinator in 2022 after spending the 2021 season as Michigan's defensive coordinator. Before working with Michigan, he worked 7 seasons in Baltimore, serving as a linebackers coach, defensive backs coach, defensive assistant, and defensive coaching intern in 2014. And that's where he started, him and Eugene Shen in the same office as interns. So they have strong ties there. They have strong ties. You guys can see some of the information about the Ravens defense. It's been dominant, and that's a big part because of him in 2021. Did a really good job with Michigan. McDonald helped guide the Wolverines to their first Big Ten title since 2004, blah, blah, blah. Defense was good. Aiden Hutchinson was an absolute stud. And the Ravens linebacking core has been good. Everything. He's done a really good job there. And again, a lot of people want a young guy, or not a young guy. We want a young guy, but also an offensive-minded coach. And I understand that. I do too. But you get a young guy like Mike McDonald. Oh my gosh, why am I keep mispronouncing it? Whatever. You get a young guy like Mike McDonald, and you pair him with a nice young offensive coordinator, or you can get an experienced one. It doesn't matter, but you see what DeMeco Ryans is doing with the Texans. He's a defensive guy. He played in the NFL for a while, was a good player. and he hired Bobby Sloak, who's done a good job. You can do that. I'd rather probably have Ben Johnson, but Mike Macdonald is in the top 3 right now for me. And again, I mentioned him earlier on when I was going through head coaching candidates, but the 2 guys I really liked were Bobby Sloak and Ben Johnson. But Mike Macdonald is starting to creep up there. Might even go to number 2 over Bobby Sloak because of his success with the Ravens as a defensive coordinator with the Michigan Wolverines, and how he left Baltimore. Their defense got worse and he came back and they're dominant once again. And I should have talked about this earlier, but there's a lot of connections between Eugene Shen and Mike Macdonald. Oh my gosh. So Macdonald was in a cramped office shared with 2 other coaching interns, Chris Horton and Eugene Shen. Horton was a former NFL safety who played several years in the league. Shen was a finance brainiac from Alliance Bernstein, who was the Ravens' first foray into coaching analytics. So you see that right there. And then opportunity of a lifetime, Macdonald said, I think they were trying to figure out what the role looked like over time. So we're just looking for stuff. And you guys can see this right here and how he's working with Eugene Shen and, the other guy too, Chris Horton. So they work together. And Eugene Shen is one of the top guys listed under the Commanders, front office page if you go to their, site. So I would say, and Eugene Shen's going to stick around because they hired him mid-season. Eugene Shen's going to have a role in hiring the next general manager for the Commanders. And then obviously that general manager with the coach or with the owner a little bit will be choosing that next head coach, but mostly the general manager and maybe helped by Eugene Shen. So if they hire a Ravens guy who worked with the Ravens in their front office, they might want to go after and get someone that worked that coached for the Ravens, and John Harbaugh is not going to be available, so maybe you go ahead and hire Mike Macdonald. That's just, maybe I'm reading too much into things, but I think Eugene Shen is going to have a big role with this team for sure. And I don't think we should ignore that. I don't think we should ignore it at all. And real quick, a word from today's sponsor.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything, anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
All right, and we're back. And again, a huge shout out to BetUS. Make sure you guys check them out. Link in the description. You get 125% first time deposit match. Great deal. They got a bunch of different sports you can bet on. And as usual, bet responsibly. Okay, so let's get back into it again. Just going over Mike Macdonald. And there we go. Did not mispronounce his name. And it's an easy name to pronounce. I guess it's just a spelling that messes me up. But you see the connection there between Mike Macdonald and Eugene Shen. There's a strong one, and then it just really depends on what general manager they hire. But I like Macdonald because, again, a nice young defensive mind, and he does value analytics a lot. And again, Eugene Shen does as well. So I think that is going to play a big factor into whoever they hire as a general manager, but also as a head coach as well. Josh Harris is very big into analytics, unlike Dan Snyder was. So is he my top candidate? No, but maybe number 2 or 3. Again, Ben Johnson is my number 1 by far. You see what he's doing with the, Detroit Lions. And yeah, they have their, not great games, but for the most part, he's done a very good job with them. And the Lions offense has been great. And it's been 2 years in a row. It's not like it's a one-year wonder thing for Ben Johnson and the Detroit Lions. So he's my number 1 guy. He's definitely going to get paid a lot, and a lot of teams are going to, want him. But we're also going to be somewhat of an attractive destination, especially if we keep moving up the ranks in terms of the draft pick. Right now we're at 3. Hopefully that, stays the same. We're going to lose our next 2 games, I believe. But, the Patriots, they got to... we're technically ahead of them, but the strength of schedule is really close. So we'll see how that plays out. But hey, if they win another game, they could beat the Jets. That would be great. And then the Cardinals, would love for them to win one more game. I think they play the Seahawks and then maybe the 49ers. I'm not completely sure but they're not going to beat the 49ers, but maybe they can beat the Seahawks. I would love that. And we have the number 2 pick, have the chance to get, who knows, Caleb Williams, Drake May. I mean, right now, I would say we have a good shot of getting the second best quarterback because one is going to be the Bears picking, and they probably will take a QB in Caleb Williams, but maybe they'll stick with Justin Fields, or maybe Caleb Williams will force his way out of there. There's been some hints at that. Maybe I'm going to make a video about that. Number 2, as it currently stands, is the Cardinals. They are probably not going to take a quarterback. They'll probably take Marvin Harrison or trade back, and then it leaves us with 3 to maybe get Drake May or, an offensive lineman like Olu Fashanu. But I think that's going to do it for today's video. Again, just want to talk about another coaching candidate, and that this guy's been on the rise recently, especially, and after yesterday's performance against the 49ers. I mean, they've done a really good job, and I should have talked about this earlier, but shut down the Detroit Lions offense, who Ben Johnson's coaching, to like 3 or 6 points. Shut down the 49ers yesterday, 17 points. They had 4 sacks, 5 interceptions, and there was one more team. I forgot who it was, but they shut them down too. So he's done a really good job there. He's young. He's going to be a head coach, I believe, next season. We'll see if it's for the Washington Commanders or not, but I think he's a sneaky candidate to be their next head coach. And shout out to Resh Manuel, who always finds out these crazy connections. I mean, this isn't that crazy, but he always finds the connections between candidates and stuff. So shout out to him. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.